to talk about them. And now we can start. Verse 4. His Grace Alika Prabhu. Read verse 4 for us.
Okay. Verse 4 says that Yadas Chaindra Asaya Sete Nantaswano O Ari Tadaloka Alayan Ayanti Ta Eta Griha Medinam Yadas Chaindra Sayayam Sete Nantasano O Ari Tadaloka Layan Yanti Ta Ete Griha Medinam. Translation. All the planets of the materialistic person, including all the heavenly planets, such as the moon, are vanquished when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ari, goes to his bed of serpent, which is known as Ananta Shesha. Am I reading the correct? Yes.
I read the purport.
Purport, purport. The materially attached are very eager to promote themselves to the heavenly planets, such as the moon. Sorry, let me pull out my video.
We are not hearing you again. No?
Yeah, I just paused to put on the video. There are many heavenly planets to which they aspire just to achieve more and more material happiness by getting a long duration of life and the paraphernalia for sense enjoyment. But the attached persons do not know that even if one goes to the highest planet, Brahma Loka, destruction exists there also. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that one can even go to the Brahma Loka, but still he will find the pangs of birth, death, disease, and old age. Only by approaching the Lord's abode, the Vaikuntha Loka, does one not take birth again in this material world. The Grey Amedis, or materialist person, however, do not like to use this advantage. They would prefer to transmigrate perpetually from one body to another, or from one planet to another. They do not want the eternal blissful life in knowledge in the kingdom of God. There are two kinds of dissolutions. One dissolution takes place at the end of the life of Brahma. At that time, all the planetary systems, including the heavenly systems, are dissolved in water and enter into the body of Garbhodakasai Vishnu, who lies on the Garbhodaka ocean on the bed of serpents called Shesha. In the other dissolution, which occurs at the end of Brahma's day, all lower planetary systems are destroyed. When Lord Brahma rises after his night, these lower planetary systems are again created. The statement in Bhagavad Gita that persons who worship the demigods have lost their intelligence is confirmed in this verse. These less intelligent persons do not know that even if they are promoted to the heavenly planets at the time of dissolution, they themselves, the demigods, and all their planets will be annihilated. They have no information that eternal blissful life can be attained. Hare Krishna.
The two types of devastation mentioned here. Jisalik, can you explain what you understand by the two types of devastations mentioned here?
The Prabhupada is explaining to us that the first type of dissolution is dissolution at the end of Brahma's life, when all of the planetary systems, both lower and higher planetary systems, are dissolved. And the water of the Garbhodakai ocean. That is at the end of Lord Brahma's life, both Lord Brahma's abode and all other planets, all the higher planetary systems, even including the abode of Lord Brahma and all the lower planetary systems, are all dissoluted. go back into the Garbhadakasai, they go enter into the body of Garbhadakasai, Vishnu, who lies in the Garbhadakasai ocean. And the second type of dissolution is that happens when Lord Brahma goes to sleep. That affects the lower planetary systems. And the upper planetary system, the abode of Lord Brahma, still exists because Lord Brahma is still alive. Thus, that is the difference of the two types of dissolution. What one is called partial annihilation and the total annihilation.
Madhuvan Prabhu.
Prabhupada point here is that these planetary systems, Prabhupada is explaining that the main point here is those who are materialists do not know this. In other words, Prabhupada is addressing those who are desirous of going to the heavenly planets, who desire to go to heavenly planets, taking advantage of the flowery aspect of the Vedic scriptures. So Srila Prabhupada is actually focusing here on discouraging the attraction for going to the higher planetary systems.
That's very good. That's very good. Madhuvan Prabhu, so which type of persons go there to these temporary planets? Which type of person goes there to these temporary planets?
The Gramedis.
The Gramedis. So, in other words, even attainment of Brahmaloka is good. The activities there are very purifying, but it's not actually the best. I want to quickly share this link to Jyoti Swarup and Tama Krishna because they were here before, but it's like they are not here again.
Okay.
That means they are lost with the former link.
Okay, this is permitted.
Okay, I've done so. So
yeah, I actually shared it on the Bhakti Vaibhava page.
Okay, yeah. Okay, but I'll still send it to them personally to see if that can help them. So these are the points. Is there any point you want us to talk about on this in this purport? Madhuvan Prabhu? Any critical point? What of
the critical point I want to discuss is that they said these people they perform religious rituals, and sometimes I want.
Yeah, I've just forwarded another link to you because we got interrupted. Sorry, please, you can continue, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. The Gramedi, as I see, they also the first text also mentioned that they engage themselves in religious rituals, and I want to think that if they're religious rituals, they usually make offerings also to the Supreme, maybe personally, whatever. And so, in a way, I also see it as a kind of service, because even if you look at the kami or the religion like Christians, like Muslims, they also make offerings to the Supreme, and which I consider a kind of service also, although it's not exactly devotional service, because it's done in the form of impersonalistic mentality. But of course, they are materialistic. All their aim, ambition is just to engage in sense gratification. And as such, that's why they have that desire, attachment to sense gratification. And that's why they wish to go to heaven, because they believe that in heaven, you enjoy more materialistic activities. But unfortunately, in the heavenly planet, when one is too much engrossed in sense gratification, then he will never be interested in self-realization. So,
thank you very much. In the text 15 of chapter 29, how a Griyasa should act is given. How a Griyasa should act is given in chapter 29, text 15. So we can read that on your own and compare it to these particular points. Kapila Muni is talking about the Griha Medi. The Griha Medi, whose goal is sense gratification and who is doing all kinds of pious activities to maximize his sense gratification. What is his destination? His destination is the heavenly planets, the moon planet or some other higher heavenly planet, at most Brahmaloka. And the point to be emphasized is that Brahma Bhuvana Loka, Puna Batino Arjuna, Mamu Petia Tru Kuntia, Puna Janmana Vijati. So the heavenly planets, whether moon planet or Brahmaloka or some planet, they are all temporary. So their destination is temporary. After staying there for some time, they will fall down again. So it is not desirable. And don't forget, this is a comparative analysis for the destination of various kinds of persons. So this is for the Griyamedi, who is like acting on the platform of Kama Mimamsa. Then from verse 5 to 7, we are going to see more a description of the Niskama Kama Yogi. And we are going to see the two types of Niskama Kama Yogis. One is just a Niskama Kama Yogi who engages in detached work. He's working as a matter of duty, is not attached to the results. But that is the end of it. He's just working like that. He gathers pious activities, pious credits. But there's a second type of Niskama Kama Yogi who acts, but he offers the result of his activities to Krishna. He's not just detached, but he engages the result of his activities in Krishna consciousness. That one is called proper Niskama or Kama Yogi. The Niskama Kama Yogi, proper Niskama Kama Yogi, whose activities culminate in Bhakti Yoga eventually, full Bhakti Yoga. That Niskama Kama Yogi become a Bhagavad Arpita Niskama Kama Yogi. So this is the level. We are going to read from 5 to 7 and we'll see this type of persons, then we'll see their destinations also. Then you see that this is a comparative analysis of different kinds of pious persons. Okay, verse, is it number 6 or number 5? Verse number 5. Madhuvan Prabhu. Madhuvan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Adama. Na Jaya. Si. Kira. Kamata. Sabe. Ni Sangha. Yasta Kamana. Prasanta Sida. Se Sasaha. Translation. Those who are intelligent and have purified consciousness are completely satisfied in Krishna consciousness, free from the modes of material nature. They do not act for sense gratification, but since they are situated in their own occupational duties, they act as one is expected to act. The purpose. First class example of this type of man is Arjuna. Arjuna was a Shastra, and his occupational duty was to fight. Generally, kings fight to extend their kingdoms, which they rule for sense gratification. But as far as Arjuna is concerned, he declined to fight for his own sense gratification. He said that although he could get a kingdom by fighting with his relatives, he did not want to fight with them. But when he was ordered by Krishna and convinced by the teachings of Bhakti that his duty was to satisfy Krishna, then he fought. Thus, he fought not for his sense gratification, but for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Persons who work at their prescribed duty, not for sense gratification, but for gratification of the Supreme Lord, are called Nisanga, free from the influence of the modes of material nature. Yasta Kamana indicates that the results of their activities are given to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such persons appear to be acting on the platform of their respective duties, but such activities are not performed for personal sense gratification. Rather, they are performed for the Supreme Person. Such devotees are called Prashantaha, which means completely satisfied. Sudha Chetasa means Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious. Their consciousness has become purified. In unpurified consciousness, one thinks himself as the Lord of the universe, but in purified consciousness, one thinks himself the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Putting oneself in that position of eternal servitorship for the Supreme Lord and working for him perpetually, one actually becomes completely satisfied. As long as one works for his personal sense gratification, we will always be full of anxiety. That's the difference between ordinary consciousness and Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So you can see that these two types of Niskama or Sakama yogis, Kama yogis, the first one is acting as a matter of duty and is detached from the results. Okay? There is a lower kedar of a Niskama, Sakama. But when one becomes more advanced, is acting. He will not want to act for sense gratification. He will not want to act just as a matter of duty, but he will act, he will be ready to act for Krishna satisfaction. That means he engages the fruits of his action in Krishna consciousness. So in this way, Arjuna's position is clear. Initially, he didn't want to fight. Considering if I fight, what will I gain? I gain the kingdom. Who am I going to gain? Thus, he was not just ready to fight for that. But when Krishna prompted him to fight, that you are not fighting for the sake of prescribed duty. You are fighting to satisfy me. I am telling you to fight. Obey my instruction. So he acted. That platform of action is Niskama Kama Yoga or Bhagavad Arpita Niskama Kama Yoga. That means you are acting now for the pleasure of Krishna. So he's more evolved than the one that is acting just as a matter of duty. Even say Krishna said, if you cannot act for my satisfaction, act as a matter of duty. That means even though that is lower, if you are doing your duty, it's better than not doing your duty and trying to do the duty of another person. So do your duty. That will elevate you gradually. When you become more advanced, you will act for my pleasure. And that is Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is superior. When you act as a matter of duty, you get purification. But when you act for the satisfaction of Krishna, the first result is you become peaceful, completely satisfied. Prasanta. Mahanta stay, samasita prasanta. Vimayava surida sadaboye. You become completely peaceful. And therefore, Krishna said, in all circumstances, act, Arjuna. So this is the platform of action of Arjuna. Initially, he didn't want to act for his own satisfaction. But when he saw that Krishna desired that action, he acted eventually, for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is the platform whereby one does the karma and one does an activity. Krishna takes the karma and he gives the yoga to the person. You do karma yoga, Krishna gives you the yoga and he absorbs the karma. You see? So this is the platform we are expected to act. And the more you act perfectly on that platform, the more you are becoming a pure devotee. And at that time, you are happy here. And after here, you don't stop in the heavenly planets. You go beyond. So this portion of the Bhagavatam is giving a comparative analysis of the different kinds of actors. The Griamedi has acted, he got entangled, and the best he could get is elevation to the heavenly planets, which are temporary. And higher than that is one who is trying to act, but is not attached to the fruit of his activities. It's an ordinary Niskama Kama Yogi. It's a Sakami Yogi. He's acting, he offers 10% of his result today. Tomorrow he offers 20%, he's advancing. Next tomorrow he offers 30%. At the point he offers 50%. But he's not offering everything. But when it goes beyond, it becomes more advanced. Then you are offer everything and you are acting as a matter of trying to carry out Krishna's order. You become most advanced. So comparative analysis of this. After this, the yogi situation will be analyzed also. Then in the end, because Krishna doesn't need to, the Kapila Muni doesn't need to analyze all this separately, but he wants us to see the different levels of actions and the destinations that they attract. And ultimately, he wants to glorify the position of devotional service. When you make a comparative analysis, the ultimate is to glorify the highest. And that is where it's going eventually. So let us read more and see how this is taking place. Yes, Jyoti Swarup came before he left, and he's come now. But yes, he took a third position before Kamala. Tamal, who took third position before, is almost completely lost now. So Kamala has overthrown Tamal. And Rasavan, who was non-existent before, has just come also. That means in his second coming, he has overthrown Tamal. But we won't blame Tamal because it was a network situation that made Tamal to go in the first place. So, Jyoti Swarup Prabhu, if you are in a position to read, you can read the next verse. Nivriti Dhamma.
Yes, Prabhuji, I will read. Nivriti nirmana niraha krita swadharmapena satvena parishuddhena chetasa. Translation: professional duties, acting with detachment and without a sense of proprietorship or false egoism. One is posted in one's constitutional position by dint of complete purification of consciousness, and by thus executing so-called material duties, he can easily enter into the kingdom of the God. Kingdom of God. Purport: here the word nivritti dharma nirataha means constantly engaging in executive religious activities or detachment. There are two kinds of religious performance. One is called pravritti dharma, which means religious activities performed by the Grahmedis for elevation to higher planet or for economic prosperity. The final aim of which is sense gratification. Every one of us
who has come to this material world has the sense of overlordship. This is called pravritti. But the opposite type of religious performance, which is called nivritti, it is to act for a supreme personality of Godhead, engage in devotional service in Krishna consciousness. One has no proprietorship claim, nor is one situated in the false egoism of thinking that he is God or the master. He always thinks himself the servant. That is the process of purifying consciousness. With pure consciousness, only can one enter into the kingdom of God. Materialistic person in their elevated condition can enter any one of the planet within this material world, but all are subjected to dissolution over and over again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jyoti Swarup Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhuji.
can you please explain the difference between pravritti and nivritti in this verse, in this purport?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Pravritti, which means the religious activities performed by the Grahmedis. Like Grahmedis, sometimes they perform some activities to benefit financially, or or maybe they wanted to go to the higher planets, maybe Swarga Loka or any another Loka, higher planets. So this is called Pravritti Dharma. And Nivritti is the final aim. No, the person who came to the material world and has the sense of overlordship, uh, like they don't have a desire to go to the higher planet, or any financial. They just wanted to serve the Lord. So that person is called sorry. So that one is called pravritti. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Nivritti and pravritti. Nivritti, that's what person called nivritti. Any addition from anyone there about nivritti?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, nivritti is pure devotional service to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead without any dint of trying to be the overlord.
Thank you. And that brings me to ask you the question, Kamlaji.
Or lording it over. And
Yeah.
then the ultimate aim of a name is that it takes one straight to the abode of the Supreme Personality.
Great, great. So can you please explain how can, by performing your prescribed duty, one can become elevated or situated in his constitutional position by dint of that duty and get complete purification of consciousness? How can this be done? You are doing your material duties as a householder, and in the end, you get purified and you become situated in your conditional position. How do you do that? How? The question is how? Kamalash, are you there?
Yeah, so glory to you. I'm here.
I'm asking you the question. How can one act, doing so-called material duties and at the same time get purified and attain his constitutional position? How can that be done?
By dovetailing the result of his work to the service of Lord Krishna, service of Guru and Krishna.
Wow. That is Nibriti, have you?
No, you're asking how can one perform the service?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's by dovetailing the result of one's work.
And that is technically called Nibriti Dharma.
Yes.
The same thing we are explaining from different angles. So it is very clear, isn't it, to everyone? One activities are binding, the others are liberating. Those activities that are binding as performed by the Griyamedi are called Pravriti, Dharma, and those activities that are liberating as performed by one who is Krishna conscious, who have mastered the science of dovetailing, is called Nivriti Marga, acting now for the pleasure. And you do that by offering the results of your activities to Krishna. So, very clear. Now let's go to the next verse. The next verse, or next text. This time we fall on Kamalaji. You read the Sanskrit, you read the translation, you read the purport.
Surya Dwarinati Yanti Purusham Vaisvata Mukam Ora Risham Parikritim Asyapati Antabhasvanam. Translation. Through the path of illumination, such liberated person approach the complete personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of the material and spiritual worlds, and is the supreme cause of their manifestation and dissolution. Purport. The word Surya Dwarinan means by the illuminated path or through the sun planet. The illuminated path is devotional service. It is advised in the Vedas not to pass through the darkness, but to pass through the sun planet. It is also recommended here that by traversing the illuminated path, one can be freed from the contamination of the material modes of nature. By that path, one can enter into the kingdom where the completely perfect personality of Godhead resides. The words Purusham Vesvato Mukam mean the supreme personality of Godhead. The supreme personality of Godhead, who is all perfect. All living entities other than the supreme personality of Godhead are very small, although they may be big by our calculation. Everyone is infinitesimal, and therefore, in the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is called the Supreme Eternal amongst all eternal. He is the proprietor of the material and spiritual worlds, and the supreme cause of all manifestation. Material nature is only the ingredient because actually the manifestation is caused by his energy. The material energy is also his energy, just as the combination of father and mother is the cause of childbirth. So the combination of the material energy and the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of the manifestation of the material world. The efficient cause, therefore, is not matter, but the Lord himself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rasavan Prabhu, can you justify this statement? The efficient cause,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, can you justify this statement, please? The efficient cause, therefore, is not matter, but the Lord himself. See, that's why it's good to follow when they are reading the purport. Everything is clearly explained in the purport.
Yes, can be justified.
Justify it, no? In an argumentative tone. You are making a debate, and you have 500 students in your front, and you are presenting this point. You want to drive it deep into their consciousness that the efficient cause is not matter, but the Lord himself. You want them to, because they are thinking that matter is the cause of everything. Now you want to let them realize that no. So how do you justify it to them? 500 students listening attentively and very critically, wanting to pick out any mistake.
My network is disturbing me today, but it's not.
Okay. I just wanted you to read like this. Material nature is only the ingredients, because actually the manifestation is caused by this energy. The material energy is also its energy. Whereas it is said in the Bhagavad Gita 10:8. Aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam prabhatati iti matva bhajantima Buddha bhava samamvita. I am the source of both the material and the spiritual world. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engages in my devotional service with all their hearts. Therefore, the material energy is also its energy. Just as the combination of father and mother is the cause of childbirth. So the combination of the material energy and the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of the manifestation of the material world. A mother cannot impregnate herself unless a man is involved. It is the man that actually impregnates the woman. Therefore, Krishna, by his glance, impregnated material nature, and all the living entities are born. So this fact is very clear. Thank you very much for understanding. Are there any questions on these points? Then you put it back. They will be looking for faults there, and there will be no faults, because the analogy of the mother and the father is there, and they can easily understand it. So that was what I wanted you to do. Then, Kamalas Prabhu, the path of illumination. What is the illuminated path? And why should we pass through the illuminated path?
Hare Krishna. The illuminated path is a part of devotional service. The illuminated path is a part of devotional service. Devotional service to Krishna. That's the illuminated path.
Yes, you get it. The illuminated path is devotional service. It is advised in the Vedas not to pass through the darkness, but to pass through the sun planets. It is also recommended here that by traversing the illuminated path, one can be freed from the combination of contamination of the material modes of nature. By that path, one can enter into the kingdom where the completely perfect personality of God resides. So the path of devotional service is the illuminated path. And that is where the path of Sudarshan, auspicious vision. The path of devotional service is where you can see everything clearly, as a matter of Sudarshan. It is illuminated by Sudarshan, the auspicious vision of the Lord. In the auspicious vision of the Lord, there is religion. In the auspicious vision of the Lord, there is austerity, devotional service, divine austerity. In the auspicious vision of the Lord, the path of Sudarshan, darkness cannot remain, because the path is lit up by transcendental knowledge. So that is the path to follow. So when one becomes a devotee, his position is secured. Only then, only when one becomes a devotee, can he actually directly enter into the kingdom of God beyond Brahmaloka. But below devotional service, the highest you can attain is Brahmaloka or you enter into Garbhodakasai, because Brahma, at the end of Brahma's day, and Brahma said time, he enters into Garbhodakasai Vishnu. And from there, you can come back again. And during creation, the next creation, you take another body, and you may have a chance of going down again. So in Ayagaba, the form of the Garbhodakasai Vishnu is the goal. Those who are very pious but are not devotees, they cannot go beyond Brahmaloka, even if they are yogis. They can only attain Brahmaloka. They stay there, they perform their activities there in Brahmaloka, they worship Lord Brahma and Garbhodakasai Vishnu. And they merge into Lord Brahma's body. And when Lord Brahma is liberated, they are also liberated along with him, the perfected ones among them. Otherwise, during the next creation, they come out again to continue. So in the next 3 verses, we are going to read about this. So let's continue.
Hare Krishna, just a question, please. Yeah, what is the significance of the sun planet? Passing through the sun planet.
Okay, it's the part of illumination. It's the part of illumination. It's just an explanation that the sun itself, we say, is the eye of the Lord. The sun gets its light from Sudarshan. Sudarshan is the auspicious vision of the Lord. So it's the same part of illumination. That's why I say in the Gita, says, just as the sun lights up everything in the daytime, so does the transcendental knowledge illuminates consciousness. So the part of illumination is the same part, and the sun represents an aspect of it. So it is the emphasis is that the part of the sun is where darkness cannot remain. That is the path of continuous light, and that is the same track coming from the auspicious vision of the Lord. That means the sun gets its light, it gets all its illumination and enlightenment from the auspicious vision of the Lord. Therefore, when one is situated in that vision, one is on the path of religion. And means, in other words, in the presence of religion and religious principles, ignorance cannot survive, just as darkness cannot survive in the presence of daylight. So this is the what I can deduce from that. But we can get more explanation to that if we make a deeper, in-depth study. We can get a lot of components out. But that is the general idea. Okay?
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. So let's read the next verse, please. Rasavan Prabhu, the one that finally beat Tama Krishna. Let me send the message to Tama Krishna again, because I forwarded him the link. But,
okay, Prabhu. So where text 9?
I think it's test 8 also.
Text 8. Okay. Text 8. Vipararada vasaneya pralayo brahmanas te tavad adya satelukam parasya parachintaka. Translation. Worshippers of the Hiranyagarbha, expansion of the personality of Godhead, remain within this material world until the end of 2 paraldas, when Lord Brahma also dies. Purport. One dissolution is at the end of Brahma's day, and one is at the end of Brahma's life. Brahma dies at the end of 2 pralardas, at which time the entire material universe is dissolved. Persons who are worshippers of Hiranyagarbha the perennial expression of the Supreme Personality of, you know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vaikuntha They remain within this universe on Satya Loka or other higher planets until the end of the life of Brahman. Then done. Parasya means always thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or
Rasavan, your network is epileptic, and it's not allowing us to understand it. So, Salik Prabhu, can you please take over from Rasavan? Starting the purports.
Hare Krishna.
being always Krishna conscious. When we speak of Krishna,
Rasavan Prabhu, you can stop. God, network is interrupting the whole thing. So your network is not very good. So don't read. Listen. For now, until your network is good.
Okay.
Sarika Prabhu, please carry on.
Yes. Purport to text number 8. I'll start from the beginning of the purport or continue from where it
Start from the beginning.
One dissolution is at the end of. Well, I'm reading something else, sorry.
It's the one you are reading.
Is the one, right?
Yes.
Okay. One dissolution is at the end of Brahma's day, and one is at the end of Brahma's life. Brahma dies at the end of 2 paradas, at which time the entire material universe is dissolved. Persons who are worshippers of Hiranyagarbha, the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhoda Kasai Vishnu, do not directly approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vaikuntha. They remain within this universe on Satya Loka or other higher planets until the end of the life of Brahma. Then with Brahma, they are elevated to the spiritual kingdom. The word parasya, para, shintaka, means always thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or being always Krishna conscious. When we speak of Krishna, this refers to the complete category of Vishnu Tattva. Krishna includes the 3 Purusha incarnations, namely Mahavishnu, Garbhoda Kasai Vishnu, and Kshiroda Kasai Vishnu, as well as all the incarnations taken together. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Ramade Moritushu Kala Niyamenena Ditishaham. Lord Krishna is the perpetually situated with his many expansions, such as Rama, Nrisimha, Vamana, and Madhusudan, Vishnu, and Narayan. He exists with all the plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions, and each of them is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The words Parasya, Parasya, Shintaka. The words Parasya, Para, Shintaka mean those who are fully Krishna conscious. Such persons enter directly into the kingdom of God, the Vaikuntha planets, or if they are worshippers of the plenary portion of Garbhoda Kasai Vishnu, they remain within this universe until its dissolution. After that, they enter. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So how do you understand this purpose?
Okay. I think this section of the Bhagavatam, Kapila Dev is just teaching us the different paths to entering into the kingdom of God and what attainment each practitioner has attained. Particularly in this text, the comparison is between those who are engaging in Bhakti, pure Bhakti, Krishna consciousness, and those who worship the Supreme deity of Krishna in his form of Radha Krishna, Rama, and all of the direct incarnations of the Lord. It expresses that they enter directly into the kingdom of God by such worship of the Lord. But those who worship the Lord in his other incarnations, although they are worshiping the Lord, they do not have the opportunity because they do not engage in that level of bhakti, parasya, para, that is described. Because they do not have the direct worship of that supreme deity, they enter into the kingdom of God alongside with Brahma, because they're not directly worshiping Krishna in his supreme form. So they also go back to Vaikuntha or whatever planets they are qualified for at the end, but they go along with Brahma at the end of the solution of the material creation.
Okay. Any question on that?
Yeah, I think that Prabhupada is emphasizing, he mentioned that twice or thrice in the purport, talking about Parasya Parashintaka. That is, always thinking about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or always being Krishna conscious, as superior to any other form of worship of Krishna. And like it's emphasized in the purport, it says that when we're talking about this Parasya Parashintaka worship, or constantly thinking about Krishna, he said it refers directly to the Vishnu Tattvas. And these Vishnu Tattvas include the three Purusha incarnations: Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, and Mahavishnu. But then Krishna is manifested in unlimited plenary portion and portions of these plenary portions. So those forms, whoever worships them, or constantly thinking of those forms of Krishna, even though they are as good as Krishna, as Prabhupada mentioned, it does not award one direct entrance into the abode of the Supreme Lord, and which is the glorification of pure devotional service as given by our acharyas, especially the Gaudiya Brahma Vaishnava Sampradaya, where the focus is directly on Radha Krishna, as taught by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu in his Kali Yuga pastimes of giving the direct means of attaining that supreme abode, in the holy name of the Lord. That's my understanding.
Yeah, that is very true. The whole essence of all this comparative analysis is to glorify devotional service. There is nothing but pure devotional service can take you back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, we should focus on devotional service. All the other processes are good because they purify, but they cannot award you pure devotional service as easily as the direct process of pure devotional service, which is enunciated by Kapila Muni. So Kapila Muni is bringing this analysis to glorify pure devotional service. So this was like Prabhupada wants us to take. All other processes are good, they are very nice. Some elevate you to heavenly planets. There's a great deal of purification if you go to Brahma Loka and stay there until when Brahma, you merge into Brahma's body and go along. All those processes are very good. But they are very lengthy, and at the same time, even those pure processes, anything hanging, keeping you purifying, keeping you still on track, then danger can come anytime, and you may fall down. So why not hold on properly to pure devotional service as is given in the Small Bhagavatam by the pure devotees. So all glories to pure devotional service, Ki Chai. That is what is given. The words Paras Chintaka, Parasya Parachintaka means those who are fully Krishna conscious. Such persons enter directly into the kingdom of God.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
If they are worshippers of the planetary person, Vishnu, they remain within the universe until this dissolution. And after that, they enter. Yeah. Jim Manuva.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. The floor is with you and you are not saying anything.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. From my own observation, when you said that sexual worship scenario expansion of the Supreme Lord, that is Maya Gaba, and then you have to wait until the end of life of Brahma. I think that's a very long time because Brahma will spend about 300 million trillion years. So that means one has to stay. Whereas somebody who just worship Krishna, who is the sum total of all the different expansions, then it's maybe once or 3 lifetimes one can get the kingdom of God. So I think the difference is so much. A lot of difference.
So which part do you like to take?
Krishna, Krishna consciousness, because it can take maybe even one lifetime, if one is serious enough. But the other one will take you a very long time before Brahma will die. I think its lifespan from human calculations was 311 trillion years.
Okay, so you take the part of Parasya Parachintakaha. That's where you take. That's where you are trying to take. That's where you are now. You are on the track. Hare Krishna. So it's the best part. It's the most safe part. All of us are trying to see if we can take it. But our senses, our intelligence, our ego is fighting with us. We are struggling to take shelter of the Guru, holding to Guru's feet, holding to Guru's feet, holding to Guru's feet. And sometimes when too many people hold the Guru's feet, now Guru want to draw his feet, they hold it down. They hold it down because they are attached to some things. They are holding to Guru's feet, but they are still attached to some other things. When Guru wants to move his leg, those other things that they are attached to, we just draw the leg back. You see the Guru making the leg. You want to move it to the front. So many of us are holding Guru's feet like that, and we are not very serious. We are not holding with 2 hands. We use 1 hand to hold some other things. We want to carry along our cell phone, our laptop, our wives and children, our this, our that. Use 1 hand to hold them, use 1 hand to hold Guru's feet. Guru drag all of us along now with all these properties attached to me. Some are tied to my legs. Meanwhile, my 1 hand is holding Guru's foot. So this is it. You will put the 2 hands to hold Guru's foot. And with complete faith. And all the impulse of the Vedas will be revealed unto us. And our activities will be enlightened. And taking the path of the sun, we will just move very swiftly and disappear into the spiritual world like that. Powerful parts. Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, please, for the purpose of comparative understanding, especially when explaining to a neophyte, we have some ideas about how what devotional service is all about. Chanting, remembering, serving the Lord, blah, 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 just like that, the 9 processes and all the rest.
Yeah.
What is this Hiranyagaba worship like?
This Hiranyagaba worship, I don't know how it is like. Oh. I've not read how Hiranyagaba is being worshipped though. I don't know how Hiranyagaba is being worshipped. I've not read it. The perfected yogis perfected yogis, they go to Brahmaloka and some are engaged in Brahma worship. They want mystic powers and all that. In Raya Gaba, Brahma is coming from the navel of him and as the firstborn. So maybe worship of Brahma is indirect worship of Raya Gaba. And, you know, maybe how they worship the Brahman, that is how they worship the worshippers, the perfect worshippers of the Brahman are worshippers of Raya Gaba. They will attain all the mystic powers, and even Brahma, how is being worshipped, it's just by pursuing the mystic yoga system, controlling the breath, and trying to elevate oneself to the higher planets, and it's the way of the yogis. But Salik Prabhu, you have some contributions to make in this direction. How is the Raya Gaba worship actually?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, what is Raya Gaba in the first place? I think that is where the challenge is. Raya Gaba means, Raya means gold. It's a kind of a worship. So Raya Gaba means it's a kind of a ritual performed by rulers or kshatriyas. The literal meaning of the word Raya Gaba means golden womb. So it's a process of rituals or worship to attain a great birth. So when you hear about worship of Raya Gaba, the Kshatriya does those worship to attain a great warriorship lineage in their next birth or a greater birth. So it is performed by a process of rituals where a golden pot is donated to the Brahmanas, and they perform the rituals. So when you talk about Raya Gaba, when Prabhupada is talking about it, so he's referring to that because it is not focused on attaining the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is attaining a higher elevated planet or higher birth. And because it is focused on higher birth, it's not all focusing on ultimate goal. That is what, even though they attain that higher position, higher elevated status of birth in their next life, it's a way of progressive attainment of Godhead. Because when, like we read before, when you attain Lord Brahma's abode, devotees in Lord Brahma's abode, they are devotees. They worship Lord Vishnu along with Lord Brahma, but they perfect devotional service. They have the opportunity to do pure devotional service. But Raya Gaba's worshipper are not focusing on going back to Krishna. Their focus is to get a higher elevated birth. Maybe in the Swaga Lokas or in the Brahma Loka or some of the Satya Lokas planets. So because that their focus or their dedication, their meditation is higher than that of the demigods, because the demigods are in abode that are lower below Lord Brahma. So worshippers of demigods, they go to the abode of the Lord Brahmas and the demigods, which are below Lord Brahma's abode. So attainment of ultimate goal of life is difficult at that stage. It's difficult because of the high level of sense gratification, and that is why they are condemned. But these Raya Gaba worshippers, they desire a higher elevated status of existence, which gives them opportunity to be able to serve the Lord. So in other words, it's better than worshiping the demigods, but it is not focused on the ultimate goal of life, which is to attain Lord Krishna's lotus feet in a direct way in Krishna consciousness. So that is why Prabhupada is contrasting it here, that even though they are focusing on ultimate goal, but they're not considering going there. They do not see themselves. They are following the path of systemic or progressive ascendant to the ultimate abode of the Supreme Personality of God. So when they succeed, just like especially the Kshatriyas, they're most often time the ones that does this Gaba worship, because after becoming a successful warrior, but they attain the zenith of the ashram of a Kshatriya. They go to a particular abode, higher abode, where their piety as a just ruler or Kshatriya gives them opportunity to continue their devotional endeavor. So this is what Prabhupada is referring to, that even though that kind of attainment is higher than the other heavenly planets of the demigods, but it is not celebrated because it takes you to a place where you now go and perfect your devotional activities to go back to the kingdom of God. That's what I've read about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think this is a very, very beautiful response to this question of Gaba worship. And thanks, Alika Prabhu, for that, because it is a very good explanation of this Gaba. And, when the worshippers, they attain a lot of powers to be situated as controllers on different levels. And there's a golden womb. You can imagine, in that golden womb, everything is inside. All the powers, all the wealth, all the everything that components of control, they are there. So if you worship that golden womb very well, and the womb open and give you one weapon, give you one power, endow you with something, you have very great universal endowment, but it's not pure devotional service. So even though it's very great, it is not glorified here. That the glory of pure devotional service is chanted above worship of Gaba, worship of Lord Brahma, which are the highest among all type of attainments in the material world. And
exactly, and it is the same thing that the Englishman calls the cosmic edge. When you hear somebody, those who are on the path of meditation, when they talk about the cosmic edge, they're talking about the Gaba, the golden one.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
It's
a kind of universal form of the Lord.
Yeah.
It's a kind of universal form of the Lord. And in it, everything is included. Everything is inside our womb. See? Okay, thank you very, very much. I think, Kamlaji, that addresses your question very nicely. We have all learned something very powerful from it. At least we are reminded, things are clarified to all of us by that your question. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Saliji, for the answer.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. The person we lost before, we have regained the person by Krishna's mercy. By his grace, we have regained the person. So I will read the Sanskrit, and the person that we regained is going to read the translation and purpose. Shimambo Anala Nila Viyamana Indriyata Uta Dibi Parivritam Pratisani Shuru Avyakritam Visati Hariguna Trayatma Kalam Parakyam Anubhya Paraswayambu. After experiencing the inhabitable time of the three modes of material nature, known as two paradas, Lord Brahma closes the material universe, which is covered by layers of earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, ego, etc., and goes back to Goddess. Please, Tama Krishna Prabhu, can you read the purport for us?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. The word Avyakratam is very significant in this verse. The same meaning is stated in Bhagavad Gita in the word Sanatana. This material word is Avyakratam, or subject to change, and it finally dissolved. But after the dissolution of this material world, the manifestation of spiritual world, the Sanatana Dharma remains. That spiritual sky is called Avyakrita, that which does not change, and there the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides. When, after ruling over the material universe under the influence of the time element, Lord Brahman desired to dissolve it and enter into the kingdom of God, other than enter with him. Hare Krishna.
Others then enter within him. Those who have tried to attain Brahmaloka and who have attained Brahmaloka and who are devotees of Lord Brahma in Vaibhava, especially devotees of Brahma, who are perfected devotees of Brahman that have entered into Brahma's body. They stay inside in Brahma's body until when Brahma goes back home like this, they go with him. So there are some questions on this, questions or comments on this particular test. Paratasma tu Bamunyo, Vyakto Vyakta Sanatana. Beyond this manifested and unmanifested world, there is another place, which is the spiritual world, that is the actual kingdom of God. So when Brahma performs his activities here, at a point it becomes saturated. After the two paradas, then Brahma will decide to also go. The Brahma who is a devotee. The Brahma who gets fully purified and become. So there are some Brahmas who are not devotees. Anyway, are there some questions or commentaries on these points?
Yes, I have a question, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please, I just want to understand if this set of people are somehow or the other connected to impersonalism. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rasavan Prabhu, are this set of people connected to impersonalism of any kind? Entering into Brahma's body and from there going with Brahma when it's going. Are they impersonalists who merge into Brahma's body and remain stunned until Brahma take them along and sneak them into the spiritual world? And when they release them there, they come out there and they see themselves as devotees. Is there some impersonalism connected to this kind of attainment? We want some clarification on contributions. While Rasavan is meditating on contributing, any other person who is motivated to contribute can just come on board and start contributing back. By the time he finishes the contribution, Rasavan must have come out of his meditation and he will start contributing seriously. He's meditating
Hare Krishna.
seriously. Hare Krishna.
My line is frustrated.
Yes.
Eh?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, what I can say,
Question.
we are one of the impersonalists.
There are some there are impersonalists.
Yes, please. That is what I'm thinking about.
Okay.
Because all those are okay.
Jyotiswaru, what do you think? Are there some form of impersonalism, or don't you think there's impersonalism there? You go and merge into Brahma's body, and from there, Brahma will just take you, sneak you into the spiritual world.
Yes, Prabhuji, if there is a mentality like that, merging into the influence, they are surely impersonalist. Because only the impersonalist, they thinks that way. So,
okay. According to Tamara Krishna Prabhu, they are impersonalists. And Jyoti Swarup Prabhu also supported that. There's a concept of merging at all into someone, and then there's impersonalism. I can see Sarika smiling. He has something to release, but before he releases it,
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Madhuban Prabhu, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Haribo.
In my opinion, or my understanding, those who perform the impersonally, ultimately they attain the heavenly planet and probably the Brahma Loka, but they will be there for some time, and after they exhaust the result of their pious activity, they fall down, and I don't think it's automatic for them at the end of Brahma's life, because if they don't engage themselves in devotional service, they will fall down again to the earth planet, and where they have better opportunity to another chance again.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. That is drawing our attention to the fact maybe there are different types of impersonalists. Even our impersonalists have levels. Okay, so how can we harmonize these polarities? G. Salik, you can come on board now, unleash.
Krishna, thank you all of the devotees for your contributions. You all have made a very valid point. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2, text number 11, Lord Krishna and Sukadev Goswami told my parish, Vedanti tattva avidas tattva yagyana adyayam brahmeti parama atmeti bhagavan iti sabdayet. That's what Sukadev said, that learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahma, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. This is the answer to this question that we are talking about. And in the purport of that verse, Srila Prabhupada emphatically clarified this very more beautifully in the first line of the purport of that verse. Prabhupada explained that the absolute truth is both subject and object. There is no qualitative difference there. Therefore, Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are qualitatively one and the same. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. So what this means is that when we come to the platform of Bhagavan realization, automatically Paramatma and Brahma realization are all inclusive. So their realization is there. This does not mean that they are impersonalists. Impersonalists cannot, because for one to be on the Bhagavan realization, he must have had realization of Brahman, Paramatma. The beauty of Bhakti is that one does not have to gradually ascend from one state to the other, like the Brahmavadis, or who follow the path of Brahma realization, because devotional service includes everything, like Prabhupada said, qualitatively one and the same. When one takes to the process of Bhakti, all of this realization is automatically inside of it. So when one attains that, but whatever level of the Bhakti, when one is able to attain that stage of Bhakti, both Brahman realization, Paramatma realization is existing inside of it. So when this purpose is telling us that they all, along with Brahma, because they are all of these realizations are already inclusive in their level of realization. So it does not mean that they are impersonalists, because if we say that some impersonalism is inside of it, it means that yes, but for clarification, we cannot say they are impersonalists, because if we say that impersonalists cannot attain the abode of the Supreme Personality, it's not possible. It only stays in Brahma Loka. Or it comes down, like it said, after it stays in the Swaga Loka, and after so many years of existence, like Krishna told Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, they come down. But this class of persons that are talked about, they are devotees. But as a devotee is, and that's why Prabhupada often explains in his purport that as a devotee does not need to extraordinarily struggle to attain the qualities of a demigod or a jnani or a mystic, because in Bhakti, everything exists inside. And that is why you see, even in our acharyas, they exhibit these qualities. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu perfected this. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited so many wonderful pastimes to show that all of the other qualities of realization are existing in Bhakti. So Bhakti, when we bring it down even to our own Srila Prabhupada will be giving classes, sit down, and immediately Prabhupada is transported away completely from this world, and he goes away for some few minutes, and devotees, after some time, they came to realize what happens with Srila Prabhupada. So they are not impersonalists that they're talking about here. They're not typical impersonalists or Brahmavadis that they're talking about here. They're talking of Bhaktas who have attained that level of background, but because of their focus is not like the previous verse has explained to us on Krishna directly. They attain that Brahma Loka, and then when Lord Brahma is going into the kingdom of God, they also go along with him. Hare Krishna. Let me stop here. I hope I didn't spend too much time trying to explain this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But it's like somebody is thinking that they're impersonalists. Still, somebody is still thinking that they're impersonalists. So this person thinking that they are still impersonalists, they may have some points to make. And Tama Krishna Prabhu, you have a point to make. Make that point. Let us see.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. My point is,
if network arrests you, that means you are arrested. And the university administrators do not want you to make that point. That's why you are arrested by network. Network is their agent. So while Tama is under the grip of network, Kamalash Prabhu, I know you have something to say about this. What are your thoughts? You see have some thoughts about this thing as to the answer to your question. Prabhu, can you share?
I'm learning. That's what I'm asking.
Hare Krishna.
We are all learning now. That's why we are asking and trying to answer questions. We are all learning now.
I think Sadhika's answer is okay with me.
Okay.
It's all inclusive, yes.
Okay. Salikaji, answer your question. Your answer the questions of Kamalaji, the original questionnaire. Your answer has satisfied him. That means the Lord is answering Kamala's through you. So thank you very much. But if you see have some deliberation on this, Tama Krishna, since you are arrested by a network, that you should not say anything about it again, and take it like that until you're able to free yourself from network. Before you can free yourself, we must have gone even. So Salikaji, you have some questions on this. Hare Krishna. Wait, let's hear from Rasavan Prabhu, because your network has been arresting him also.
Yeah, network is seriously dealing with me. But the little contribution I want to make, about impersonalists and personalists is that you see the
network has arrested again. So those of you under the arrest of network,
higher planetary to 4, the journal. Apart from that, which is under the rule of Indra, these 4 higher planetary systems are above Indra. So the question of impersonalists, those who are prone to jhana knowledge, most of them can be impersonalists. And then there are those who are tied to tapa, who perform severe austerities. There may be impersonalists also there. And those of Mahaloka. But since they are all under the control of Brahma,
Rasavan arrested by network again. So thank you very much.
Prabhu, I think maybe you can off your video so that maybe we can hear you better.
Can you please off your video?
In their various practice is to benefit from the carries all of them. So already the path is of Nivriti. But those who go directly from Nivriti, as Bhagavatam described them, Parasya Para Chintaka, those who go direct. But those who don't go directly, by dint of some attachment, knowledge, mystic power, austerity, and all those things, they enter into these higher planets, and then they are directed, they are accompanied by Brahma to go. This is the little contribution I want to make.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But before Salik, you come to conclude. What is the difference between Mayavadis and impersonalists? Salikji, you can answer and at the same time give your conclusion on this topic.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Mayavadis, impersonalists are actually talking about the same thing. The difference is that there are two types of impersonalists. The literal meaning of Mayavadi in English is impersonalism. But there are two types of impersonalisms, as we have read from Srila Prabhupada's books. One impersonalist is, it does not make offenses against Krishna's form. It does not, they do not deride the form of the Lord. They are just attracted. That impersonalists, the Mayavadis, are said to be one of one nature. But the one that Prabhupada most often condemn are those who deride the form of the Lord. They consider the form of the Lord to be material. So in this way, they try to kill the Lord's form. They want to deny the Lord of his physical form because their experience of material existence is so miserable. So because of their miserable experience of material existence, so they cannot imagine the Lord having a form because they have no conception of the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they deride the form of the Lord. So these are the second type of impersonalists or Mayavadis. So these are the ones that are condemned. There's a technical language which I'm trying to remember. So these are the ones that are derived. That the Vedic scriptures of Srila Prabhupada condemn vehemently in his scriptures. So maybe you can give a, if you want to respond to that before I say any other thing on the other topic.
Hare Krishna. So your hand was up before. So you wanted to say something in response to what Kamala's, because you wanted to finalize before, or you are finished with what you wanted to say?
Yeah, I think I've, on that topic, I think I've explained it. I think Tama Krishna Prabhu's point is valid because he's trying to express the fact that the Mayavadis, there's some form of impersonalism. Yes, but there's impersonalism. The point we're trying to make is that impersonalism cannot be devoid or cannot be removed from the absolute realization of the Supreme Personality of God. That's why I quoted the Vedanti Tattva Vidas verse, because Prabhupada made us understand that one who is a Bhagwan realized soul, or Mahabhagwan, he has the element, he has the knowledge, he has the realization of Brahman and Paramatma together. But a Brahman realized person does not have the realization of Paramatma and Bhagwan. A person with a realization of Paramatma has Paramatma realization and Brahman realization together, while a person with Bhagwan realization has realization of Bhagwan, Paramatma, and then Brahman. So if he is talking about what Lamla Krishna Prabhu is talking about, that yes, some element of Brahman realization is there, yes, but they cannot be considered to be, and I think that is why you are, for clarification, that's why you asked that question about Mayavadi impersonalism question. And that's what I'm responding to, that the impersonalism or Mayavadis are two types. And those who deride the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be Maya, to be illusion. There's a technical word for differentiating them. I can't remember off now, but I can mention it later before we go. But there are two types of Mayavadis. Mayavadis, that those who derive the form of the Lord, but those who are just attracted to that form of Brahman. I can't remember the particular word for now, but I can share it later before we close.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. G. Madhuvan, you can say a few words and we conclude for today.
Okay. I have my few words with my own little understanding. I believe that impersonally, they believe in God, but they don't believe that God is a person. So they follow their process. But in the case of Mayavadi, they believe that they are this body, that we are the body, we are not spirit soul. So I think that's the difference, the contrast between the two of them.
Thank you very much. The personalists, they cannot actually enter into the kingdom of God because they actually envious of the Lord, and therefore they cannot serve him, because to accept him as a person that they can relate to means they are going to serve him. So they are denied, and where they are the ones who say they don't have opportunity to even take prashad. They cannot take prashad. Yes, they cannot take prashad. Therefore, even ordinary vikamis are more fortunate than them, because ordinary vikamis can meet us on Food for Life and take prashad, and from there start to make their gradual elevation. But the impersonalists cannot even take prashad because they merge into the effulgence of the Lord. So what is the question of individuality to be able to take prashad or to hear from devotees or hear Bhagavatam? So their situation is very, very unfortunate, because after merging there for some time, they will fall down and they can become anything and start coming up from there. So they are very, very unfortunate. Though impersonal aspect of the Lord is part of the Lord, but his attainment is very unfortunate, because the person will lose his individuality and is not going to be able to render any service, and is not able to take any prashad, nothing, and become senselessly situated in nothingness. So we'll deliberate more on this topic, and we are going to see what is oneness actually in our next session. What is actual oneness? What is oneness? Because there is oneness in our system to become one in purpose with the Lord and to act accordingly and become an instrument of the Lord. That is one type of oneness. But the other type of oneness is detestable and it's not accepted by us. So we are going to see the difference between this type of oneness, and we are going to deliberate and see and glorify pure devotional service more. And by that will bring us to verse 24. I think we are in verse, what verse are we now?
10 or so.
10?
We finish 9, going to 10.
Okay, so in our next class, we go from 10 to 24. And we move to the second half. That is the first half of this chapter. This is quarter of the chapter we are in. So we move into full half in our next class, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Caitanya Prema Prabhu, sorry, just a minute. I think what I'm remembering now, if I can remember clearly, and correct me if I'm making a mistake, is that our Prabhupada used to differentiate it in his book is the Mayavada, or those who are Mayavada philosophy. Their philosophy is that everything is one. I think the teaching that they are teaching is that everything is illusion.
Sunyavadis, I think.
Yes, that's thank you. That's what I Sunyavadis. That's what they are trying. They teach is. However, but Krishna consciousness philosophy is that is what I try to express in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 2, text 11, that everything is inside of it. But the Mayavadis, they consider this Mayavadis, one are called Mayavada, the other one is called Mayavadis, because then the Mayavadas, they just think that everything is illusion, and then they just want to merge into the existence of the illusion. They want to negate themselves. The Mayavada philosophy rejects all forms and manifestation, as well as personality itself as illusion. So they advocate for oneness and then merging into and they have become offensive. But like you said, maybe in the next class, we'll all go and do our we'll go and study more on Slavia Sadh's thoughts on Advaita and Dvaitas. I think that is the topic that we're talking about here. The Vedantis, they are the Advaitas and they are the Dvaitas. And then, so I think the contrast between the Dvaitas and the Advaitas is what we're talking about. Maybe we can go deep into it in the next class.
Yes, then Dvaita, we are going to talk about these different schools of
Dvaitas and Advaitas.
when we come back. So go and make more research, bring more facts so that we can all learn something more. And we see the difference between, we put them side by side and see which one is preferable for us. Okay, thank you very much for today. We are very grateful for your various questions and for your various contributions, especially Salikaji, who helped us to clarify Iraya Gaba worship. Thank you very much. It's a very serious
I just
because it's hidden even from very learned scholars. You have to be very fortunate to be able to have a glimpse of what is actually meant there. So we thank you very much. But before we go, I would like to announce to you that we are doing this Vaishnava culture course, and we actually expect all temple presidents to bring their serious followers, because this is the platform whereby we are training, we are bringing the gurus and different senior devotees to help to train our congregation so that they can become better devotees. But one who knows the culture and tradition well can do devotional service better. If you know what you are doing, you can do it better. So this platform is to benefit, this particular course is to benefit all the temple presidents, by giving a broader understanding, a more concrete understanding of what Vaishnava culture is. So you should enthusiastically bring your, intelligent devotees on board. And they can come ask questions and see how we tackle controversial questions and also clarify, sharpen the focus. So bring them on board. It is not some sectarian kind of course. It's for everybody, all temple presidents. We expect the class to be full. So if it's a case whereby some temple presidents are not even coming on board for this course, how can they give it to encourage their followers to come on board? They themselves are not coming. So how can they encourage anybody else to come? That means they don't see the value of the course. So this will not be the case. Huh? You should take advantage of the opportunity to train your devotees. So bring them on board. Today we are addressing Vaishnava dress. And even though I'm not qualified, some or the other, I'm there to talk about it. And as you see, it is not the speaker knows all. That is not our approach. The speaker knows all and is coming to download all that is knows on the ignorant people. It is not like that. Everybody knows something. And some aspect that the speaker doesn't know at all, somebody else in the audience knows. So if a speaker is in the mood of, I know it all and I want to teach the people that are listening to me, then we have difficulty, we have problems along the line because some people know more than him, even though they're in the audience. He's just getting the opportunity to facilitate the course. So he should not put himself in the center as a supernova. So a topic like the Vaishnava dress is a very universally controversial topic. And we want senior devotees like you here, all of you here, to be part of such a class. And Salika Prabhu is always there, and that is very good. And